Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of our Static Defense South America playthrough with me, Firefly Gaming. I hope you're having a good day. We're going to be playing this one to the end. Now, our strategy, as you know, is playing as if we
Research
had
complete.
nothing but static structures. We even have mobile things like these coastal defense batteries, but we're treating them as though they are static. They can't move. No, they cannot move whatsoever. So that's what we're going with here. Now, another part of the strategy was getting ICBM vehicles. Now, in addition to that, we're also going to be getting heavy rockets, and we're going to be trying to build up that as well, because as you can see right now, we're finishing off our missile silo production. And then we're going to get in some satellites up and going. So, our goal is to have a static structure, and the missile silos we'll be using to target one thing, such as cities, whereas the ICBM trucks will be using to target things such as um, defenses and offensive structures. So that's what our plan is. We'll see how it turns out. Currently, we are allied with Europe and the North America. And as you can see, they're a little bit further behind on production, but that is a-okay. Maybe they're saving their things up. I don't know. But there is our fancy little missile silo base. And there's those ICBM vehicles. Now it's time for the over-the-horizon radars to go up. And we're building a couple of them for redundancy because, as you know, if something gets blown up and we don't have redundancy, then we are a fish out of water, ladies and gentlemen. We have no way to defend against it. Now, historically, South America didn't necessarily have a ton of nuclear powers, to say the least. In fact, I would argue that they had almost no nuclear powers. Uh, as far as I know, nobody there has ever had nukes. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please do tell me, and I will gladly accept that I am 100% wrong, and I would
Research complete.
love to learn about why I'm wrong. But as far as I know, South America never had any nukes, which is a pretty important prospect when you think about the fact that the Middle East had nuclear weapons. Nations such as Israel had nuclear weapons. Now, Israel, interestingly enough, never wanted the world to know about their nuclear capabilities. They just kind of strongly hinted at it to make sure that everyone knew that if they were ever, say, taken over by Egypt or Jordan or something like that, that they would be prepared to launch nukes against any major Arab population centers. But, you know, that's geopolitics that we aren't necessarily getting into. It was certainly thought about during the Yom Kippur War. It's certainly a very, very scary prospect, to say the least. Now, we have our first satellite up. Let's make it a good one. Right along there should be good, because that'll give us some coverage of our own territory, as well as pretty much all of Europe, all of Russia, and a decent chunk of the East Asia sphere over here. That's a lot of SAM sites, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot of SAM sites. Now let's get one that goes through West Asia and Southeast Asia. Now, these satellites are going to be another part of our defensive plan, getting those lasers up. Looks like Russia's going super defensive. West Asia is going super air-based. Aerial-based, I suppose. And Africa, I'm not really seeing too much what they have. I know Europe doesn't have a whole ton. North America is looking decently strong, although Africa, it's not looking like they have much of anything, surprisingly. Looks like they're definitely going for an aircraft-based approach with the Pacific down there. Let's get a satellite right there. That way it can kind of see North America as well. Oh, Europe does have a carrier group right there. It does have a carrier group. Now, after these satellites, what are we going to produce? Well, let me tell you, we're going to produce some more of these good old... Well, first of all, we're going to do some more SAM sites, and then we're going to be doing some of these ICBM vehicles, and we're going to go with a whole 20 of them. You heard it right, folks. 20 of them. And then after we get heavy rockets there in a second, we're going to be going hard on the rocket production, because I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to be seeing much more of the nuclear war than we could ever want. And there we go. Now again, these SAM sites are mainly here as part of that extra missile defense strategy, because I firmly believe that you can never have too many SAMs. After that advanced SAM, I think that doing some... what do I think would be good? Maybe the early warning system? That way it'll give us a little bit extra detection range. That I feel like would be nice. So, yeah, there we go. I think our SAM capabilities are up to snuff, hopefully. If they aren't, that I'm a failed world leader, which, you know, let's not kid ourselves, I'm that already, but, you know, whatever. Let's try and get Lima a little bit more protected there. However, it's a little bit more sparse. I'm trying to add in some things. But now it's time for all those ICBM vehicles. Now, the megaton ICBMs, we're going to stick onto these trucks right here. So we're going to produce a good amount of them. We'll go with 50 of them first. Then these 10 megaton ICBMs, oh boy, well, we're going to produce a decent amount of them too, and then some more of these regular megatons. And that's going to be our main production facility for right now. Here's our first of those ICBM trucks. We're just going to kind of deploy them all over the place. There we go. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm thinking the missile silos are going to strike cities, and the ICBM vehicles are going to strike against infrastructure, because the ICBMs can only take 1 megaton, and the missile silos can take 10 megatons, so obviously we can see what we're doing here. Now, interestingly, we aren't going for MIRVs, which, you know, we could go with. We certainly could. We absolutely could. However, I don't see the challenge in it, I suppose. I think maybe it's a little too easy on us. So we are going to be going for a little bit of a tougher strategy, but, you know, it is what it is. We're going to try and drown out the enemy with just the volume of fire, regardless of the MIRVs. We do have some decent satellite coverage. You know, we can always use more. Always. Always. I'm just really, really hoping that we do not have the nuclear war kick off yet, because very simply, I don't feel like we are prepared, ladies and gents. Now let's see what this advanced SAM does. There we go. After the early warning system, I think laser space weapons would be excellent, so that way our satellites can shoot things down. Whew, man. Mexico City, look at you. Got London, Moscow. There is a lot of big, big cities out there in the world. Tokyo, Jakarta. Big, big cities. Now, we're almost done with our ICBM truck production, which is exciting. I'm going to go ahead and cancel those because I want to go ahead and start getting some production underway on warheads. Because that seems incredibly important to actually have the warheads ready to go.
Research complete.
There's that over-the-horizon radar. Thankfully, we are flying through the 1 megaton things. Let's go ahead and get another couple of over-the-horizon radar. And yeah, that should be good for that. Laser space weapons are on their way. Now, what I'll probably follow that up with is ASAT. Maybe. We'll see. We might actually go for MIRVs. Yeah, we'll go for the false warheads, the MIRVs. And if we get there, then we get there. If not, then we don't. That's okay. So we're going to go ahead and ICBM vehicles. We're going to target radars, over the horizon, SAM sites, airbase, missile silos, and yeah, pretty much that. I'm not sure who we'll target yet, so we'll just, you know, we'll keep it as is. And then we'll do the missile silos, cities, best config, and that's what it is. That is what it is. It is what it is. Now currently they just have those megaton ICBMs. Although getting to the 10 megatons now. There we go. We're going to switch them up to the 10 megaton ICBM just because we can. So that way their initial targeting is with that, because what I think happens when you make a plan and you select best config, they expend the missile already in the silo when they could be going for something else. So, you know, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And we'll go ahead and try to rectify that by immediately just going, hey, nope, we're going to use the 10s. We're going to use the 10s. Nothing else for us, just the 10s. Thank you kindly. Now, I would like some more ICBM trucks, just in case, you know, we need more, especially with the MIRVs coming about. Eventually, although the laser space weapons are much more likely. In fact, we're going to get done with our current production of things before we even finish laser space weapons. And I have a slight feeling that it's going to, you know, it's going to kick off before then. So we're going to get another 10 ICBM vehicles. I know it's a big, tall order, but it's what must be done. Then after that, we'll get a couple more satellites just to try and cover more of the world. We're back to our regular megaton ICBMs. That is for sure. I think all of our missile silos are over to it. Now, I think that these guys only being able to equip the 1-ton megaton ICBMs is both a blessing and a curse, because that means that you can only ever need production of one warhead, and you don't have to go around and switch it over. But, of course, that means that you don't have the versatility of having multiple types of warheads if you so choose to have them. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword, and it's not horrible, but it's something just to keep in mind. I think it's an interesting way to play, and I definitely like it. We're now on to our redundancy over-the-horizon radar, because we're going to need them when everything kicks off. This is probably the most things that I've ever placed in a single playthrough, because we have gone very far into the game without anything actually kicking off. I'm very surprised. Russia has so many SAM sites. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. It's extremely ridiculous, but having this redundancy will make me feel much better about my defenses, and redundancy is key. Then again, equipping these guys with lasers to shoot all those MIRVs out of the sky when they come out of the silos is also going to be very helpful.
Research complete.
And there we go. Space lasers for the win. I think what we're going to do is probably a polar orbit to cover the seas here. Because in case there is any SSBNs, which I am positive that there are plenty lurking beneath the waves, you know, that'll be helpful. There we go, another couple of over the horizons. Now it's time for those ICBM vehicles. Now after MIRVs, what might we even want? Well, ASATs would be okay, but I don't really see any super big need for them. I guess those missiles afterwards would be pretty cool. Here we go with the ICBM vehicles getting equipped. This is actually turning out to be quite a long game. I'm pretty surprised. Normally by now everything would have gone kaboom, but you know, somehow we are keeping it together. Somehow we're keeping it together. Excuse me, it is getting pretty late at night. Wasn't expecting this to go for so long, but you know, I'm happy that it is. I do like having everything ready to go. Oh man. Ah, interesting. So, a majority of these guys are actually out of range. So the missile silos definitely have more range. The ICBM vehicles definitely don't. Interesting, interesting. So the ICBM vehicles have less range, but they, I assume, take less to produce. Almost 2 minutes on the dot versus almost 3 minutes. So yeah, big difference there. Interesting. Well, that is helpful for sure. Now, I might actually want to do cities as a secondary just to get more in there. So we're going to do that priority 2 after we take out things. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to see. Perfect. And these guys are just hitting cities. That is very good. Looks like some aerial skirmishes going on between Africa and Europe and all that jazz. Not my problem, because in my experience, my allies abandoned me almost immediately anyway, so what's the point, you know? What is the point? At this point, it's gone on for so long, I might be the one to kick it off with just a big old nasty alpha strike against everybody. But I'm not like that. How many more of these guys do we got? 3 left. Okay. 3 left and a whole bunch of stuff. I'll increase that up to 20 since I know that we have several more trucks than maybe we necessarily intended off of the bat, but hey, here we are. I just hope that our SAMnet is actually prepared. I hope that it's enough. Let's see, North America, 14 SAMs. Europe, none that we know of. Russia has 24. East Asia, none that we know of. Pacific 5. Africa, none that we know of. West Asia 2. And we have 95. Okay, I'm feeling better now. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to get hit. Not what that means at all. We're still probably going to get hit, especially on these coastal cities that no matter how much we try, they're always going to be exposed. Always, always. But yeah, Russia having that many is pretty suspect. I don't want to say that this game is too easy to win as the human, but it's very obvious that the AI, you know, it's a little bit behind, and that's okay. It's not a problem. It's still a very fun game. It's just, you know, it's a game. That's all it is. I'm not upset about that. It's just an observation. Now we're actually about to get to false warheads, which will make all these missile silos so much worse, because then we'll get those crazy warheads in there. And, you know, those hypersonic missiles are just going to make everything even crazier. Here is another satellite, which I'm going to place here to try and get the Atlantic and the Pacific covered. Which that did, in fact, uncover things that we did not have before. So, you know, that's good. Polar orbits and all that jazz. Now, as for the next one, I'm not too sure, actually. Maybe over here, over Russia? Perhaps, perhaps. Having all these space lasers is making me paranoid about it, I guess. Guess let's go with that trajectory. Hopefully that'll help us out a little bit. That'll give us a good bubble, I feel like. Primarily over these missile silos that I noticed that East Asia has right along there that are definitely in range of my western coast.
Research complete.
So, you know, there's that. Hey, we got false warheads. You know what that means, everybody. That means that we have these guys right here. Yeah, these guys are nasty. They are almost impossible to intercept because there's just so many. So many. Oh gosh. Way too many of these bad guys. So yeah, that's our production for the foreseeable future. And then research-wise, we almost have everything researched. fact, we have advanced aircraft ready. ASAT, I guess, will be next up on the chopping block. So yeah, let's check our plans real quick. I think we'll wait for a little bit more of a stockpile on those MIRVs. So our plans right now include hitting all of that, which looks to be taking out mainly Africa and Russia. And then these guys are just kind of heading all over the place. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hitting all the big cities for sure. Hitting all the big cities for sure. That is a lot of aircraft. Oh my gosh. That is a ton of aircraft. Okay, do we kick it off yet, guys? It has been a hot minute before we've kicked it off, but hey now. Hey, hey. I think we wait until we get a few more of these MIRV ICBMs, just so that way we can get a little bit more of the missile silos equipped with them after the initial volley. So let's wait just a tad, and then we will in fact kick it off. Because right now we have a stockpile of 124 regular megaton ICBMs, about 40-10, and about 20 of the MIRVs. So I think it might be time to switch heavier over to production. So 90 on production, that definitely makes everything a lot quicker to produce. Sorry over there, research, but you're definitely secondary now that we're getting into nukes. And look at how fast those guys are just zipping through. All right, so I think it's time to kick it off, everybody. We are going to slow it down. And we're going to go ahead and execute this plan. And execute this plan. And I fully expect for our allies to betray us immediately. But that's okay. You can see all of these launches going all over the world. Looks like they're continuing to fire the 10 megatons. That's okay. If they use up their stock, then they'll just switch over to the MIRVs. I'm not worried about that. And there we go. The first round has begun. We are hitting things. You can see our satellites are actually doing their job here. They are hitting things all over the place. Right now we are top dog, of course. Looks like we do have, there is one nuke that's coming in. We have a couple of them from East Asia. Again, from those missile silos that I was worried about. And they are definitely being shot down, thankfully, very quickly. Boom, look at that. The satellite works. It does, in fact, work, ladies and gentlemen. Now, these missile silos are running out of missiles relatively quickly. Because we have 10 of them, so they're running through 10 of these every round. And we do have, 20 of the ICBMs, so, Now we're definitely eating away at any enemy infrastructure that's there. As you can see, the ICBM trucks are absolutely hammering the Soviets. Now it looks like they're going to be hammering the North Americans, because the North Americans have just pulled out of our pact. In fact, they almost just hit some of our stuff, and I don't really appreciate that there, North America. So you're next on the chopping block.
Structure destroyed.
What do we lose? I'm not sure what we lost. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky North American ICSSBN. I see you. For some reason these guys... Oh, there it goes. Those MIRVs. Never good when you have MIRVs. So we are absolutely hammering North America because they decided to betray our alliance. Somehow Europe has not betrayed it yet. I don't know how or why. Alright, look. Look, 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 look. Hey now. We need to get rid of that guy. Right now. Right now.
Vehicle destroyed.
Right now, thank you. Because those guys are actually hurting us pretty bad. They destroyed an entire ICBM truck.
Production complete.
I think we also need to include SSBNs on there. Looks like. There we go. So hopefully that'll get that done. I don't know when the cities got removed from there on time too, but hey, whatever. So now I think these guys should be getting to the MIRVs, which, you know, I'm not quite sure how effective that is. We do need to hit West Asia pretty hard though. Okay, so that's time to finish. I just realized we have no production. What are we doing here? Are we amateurs? Are we amateurs, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think so. Okay, so let's switch these guys over to the MIRVs as they start to run out of their stockpile. Which is perfectly fine. We have plenty to go around. And these aren't just the MIRVs, they are the very, very mean MIRVs. They are the ones that split into like 8. It's crazy. Just make sure that they're all off of that. Good, good, good. And there we are. So it looks like West Asia and the Pacific are still kind of in the running a little bit here, so let's change that. Pacific and West Asia. Pacific and West Asia. There we go. So now, hopefully, it'll be hitting all their stuff. There we go. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? There is some of those really mean MIRVs. Yep. Moscow's down to 1 million. London's down to just 500,000. New York's down to 1 million. Mexico's down to just 880,000. Tokyo's down to 800,000. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. And there we see the fall of West Asia as we hit some of their cities. Looks like Istanbul took some big hits there. Oh, only 280,000. There's Tehran hit. Kabul's next. Bombay already got hit. That's a lot of different warheads. It's going for Bangkok, yep. Done, done, done. I'm not even sure if we're taking anything in return at this point. I don't think anybody has the capability now. Looks like Russia
Alliance broken.
has like one missile silo left. But I don't really see much that is actually left. And there we go. That's the end of it. We launched the most out of everything by far. We had 100% remaining. I didn't even know that. 218 warheads, 560 megatons, 260% killed, 185 million. And look at that score. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed. That was certainly crazy. I think our strategy worked. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.